Every kernel of corn contains vitamin B3. Your body needs it to survive. But in raw corn, that vitamin is locked. You can't absorb it. 3,500 years ago, the Aztecs found the key. They soaked corn overnight in water mixed with crushed limestone. One bath unlocked the vitamin, softened the grain, and killed the toxins inside. When Europeans brought corn back in the 1500s, they shipped the seed, but left the technique behind. Called it superstition. Within 2 centuries, hundreds of thousands fell sick from a disease that never had to exist. So how does a lime bath turn corn into a chip? And today, can you find the answer in one word on the bag? Long before written language, ancestors of the Maya cultivated teosinte, a wild grass with tiny kernels, nothing like modern corn. Over millennia, they bred it into maize. But raw maize had a problem. The hull was tough and the nutrients were trapped inside. So they developed nixtamalization from the Nahuatl words nextli, meaning ashes, and tamale, meaning unformed dough. They boiled kernels in water mixed with wood ash. The alkaline solution dissolved the hull, swelled the starch, and softened hard grain. They ground it into a wet dough called masa. From masa came tortillas, tamales, and the base of a cuisine. This knowledge passed from mother to daughter for 100 generations. No paper, no textbook, just hands and memory. In 1493, Columbus carried maize across the Atlantic. Within decades, corn spread through Spain, Italy, France, and Egypt. It grew fast, yielded more, and fed millions. But no European recorded how to prepare it. They planted the grain and skipped the soak. By the 1800s, a disease swept every region where corn had become the staple. Doctors called it pellagra. Symptoms followed the 4Ds: dermatitis, diarrhea, dementia, death. In the American South during the Great Depression, 250,000 cases and 7,000 deaths a year. All because nobody asked the people who grew it how they actually cooked it. Today, the lime bath runs on an industrial scale, but the chemistry hasn't changed. It starts with dent corn, a starchy variety with a small dimple on top of each kernel. Not sweet corn. Dent corn has more starch and less sugar, which gives chips their firm bite. Kernels go into steel vats filled with water and food-grade calcium hydroxide at 1 to 2% concentration. The mix heats to about 80 degrees Celsius, then soaks for 12 to 14 hours overnight. The factory floor smells like wet limestone and warm grain. Earthy, mineral, nothing like the finished product. During that time, calcium hydroxide does 3 things at once. It breaks down hemicellulose, the glue holding the hull together so the skin peels away like wet paper. It converts bound niacin into free niacin that your gut can absorb, the exact vitamin that Europeans lost when they skipped this step, and it destroys mycotoxins, especially aflatoxin, a mold poison linked to liver cancer, cutting contamination levels by 90 to 94%. The calcium itself bonds with the grain, raising calcium content by 750%. One soak, 4 transformations. The next morning, workers drain the alkaline liquid and rinse the kernels in clean water until the pH drops back to neutral. What remains is nixtamal, earthy and faintly sweet, nothing like raw corn. You can smell the difference. Raw corn smells sharp and grassy. Nixtamal smells warm, like wet stone after rain. It passes through a stone mill, 2 volcanic rock disks spinning against each other, and becomes masa, a warm dough with the texture of wet clay. Press it between your fingers, and it holds the shape. Squeeze, and it gives. For chips, masa mixes with water, gets pressed through steel rollers into thin sheets about 1.5 millimeters thick and stamped into triangles. The triangle shape isn't decorative. 3 points spread force evenly across the chip, so it holds when you scoop heavy salsa without snapping in half. Raw triangles drop into oil at 180 degrees Celsius for about 60 seconds. Surface starch dehydrates instantly, forming a rigid shell while steam escapes from inside, creating the tiny bubbles you see on the chip's surface. The Maillard reaction kicks in. Amino acids and sugars recombine at high heat, turning the chip golden and releasing a nutty, roasted aroma that fills the entire production line. Still glistening, chips pass under a curtain of fine salt. Timing matters. Salt sticks only while oil is still wet on the surface. Wait 10 seconds too long and the salt bounces off. Then they cool on a vibrating conveyor and drop into bags filled with nitrogen. Not air. Nitrogen prevents oxidation and cushions chips during shipping. From kernel to sealed bag, about 36 hours. 14 of those are just the soak. What started as leftover tortillas fried in a pan became one of the biggest snack categories on Earth. In the 1940s, Mexican-American cooks in Los Angeles began frying misshapen tortillas that would have been tossed. By 1966, Frito-Lay launched Doritos from a small food stand inside Disneyland. The name means little golden things in Spanish. Today, the American tortilla chip market exceeds $10 billion a year. Frito-Lay controls nearly 60%. Americans eat over 4 billion pounds of chips annually, more than 12 pounds per person. The entire industry starts from two of the cheapest ingredients on Earth, water and lime. But do you know the most ironic part? The snack you call Mexican food was never invented in Mexico. Traditional Mexican kitchens serve tortillas warm and soft, fresh off the comal. Cutting them into triangles, frying them crisp, and sealing them in a bag is entirely Mexican-American, born in immigrant kitchens where nothing went to waste. And the country that exports the most tortilla chips isn't Mexico. It's the United States, shipping a product built on Mesoamerican chemistry back across the border. But the strangest detail of this story is still hiding on the back of the bag. Pick up a chip, just a small triangle, barely weighing anything, sitting between two fingers. But that chip traveled a very long road to reach your hand. It started as a hard kernel, locked tight inside a hole your body couldn't break down. Then, one night, soaking in lime water changed everything. The hull fell away. The vitamin unlocked. The toxins vanished. The kernel became dough. The dough became a thin sheet. The sheet became a triangle. And 60 seconds in hot oil turned it into the thing you're holding right now. Next time you open a bag, flip it over. Look for the word nixtamalized in the fine print. It sits quietly among the other ingredients, easy to skip. But now you know what it means. You know it carries the weight of a 3,500-year-old technique, a forgotten epidemic, and the hands of every woman who passed it down without ever writing it on paper. You bite down, that crunch, salt dust on your fingertips. 3 seconds of chewing, 3,500 years in a single bite. Europeans called it superstition. 3,500 years later, we call that same thing food science. One word on a bag. One soak that changed everything. That's the process. We reveal how things actually work, one story at a time. If there's something you'd like us to explore next, let us know. Until then, trust the process.